Look around you, your home, your work, your relationships, your finances, your health. If you see chaos, disorder, conflict, scarcity, here is the truth you don't want to hear. This is not happening to you. It is happening through you. Your external world is not an accident. It is not bad luck. It is not the universe conspiring against you. It is a perfect mirror of your internal world. Every area in chaos out there reflects corresponding chaos in here. And here is the explosive implication. If you want to change what you see around you, do not start by changing external circumstances. Start by changing the inner state, because the outer world always reorganizes to match the inner. This is the Second Hermetic Law, the Principle of Correspondence. In Episode 1, we explored the principle of mentalism. The all is mind, the universe is mental. We established that reality is fundamentally mental, not material. Now, the second law goes deeper. If everything is mental, then there is correspondence between all planes of existence. What happens on the mental plane is reflected on the physical plane. What happens in the microcosm, you, is reflected in the macrocosm, your world. What is above, spiritual, mental, manifests below, physical, material. Hermes Trismegistus encoded this in the Emerald Tablet, a legendary text that supposedly contains the key to all alchemy, all transmutation, all manifestation. And the first line? As above, so below. But most people live completely blind to this law. They look at their ruined lives and blame the market, the boss, the ex-girlfriend, the government, luck, God, and never look at the only place where the real problem lies, within. This is Episode 2 of the full series on the 7 Hermetic Laws. And today, we will decode the law that changes everything, correspondence. Throughout this video, you will discover why Plato said the physical world is a shadow of the world of ideas, how the three planes of existence, physical, mental, and spiritual, mirror each other, why you never escape yourself, your world always reflects you, how Jung proved the external is a projection of the internal, the Hermetic method to read your life as a mirror, why external chaos is always a symptom of internal chaos, how to use correspondence for precise diagnosis of your blockages, the transmutation technique, change inside, watch the outside reorganize. And in the end, you will understand something that will change your life forever. You are not trapped in circumstances. You are trapped in mental patterns that create circumstances. Change the patterns, and the circumstances have no choice but to change. Let's start with the foundation.
Foundation 1. The three planes of existence. Hermeticism teaches that reality operates on three great planes, the Kybalion. The principles of truth are 7. He who knows these, understandingly, possesses the magic key before whose touch all the doors of the temple fly open. These three planes are the great physical plane, matter, energy, time, space, the world you touch. The great mental plane, thought, emotion, consciousness, the world you experience. The great spiritual plane, the all, the universal mind, the world that is. And the crucial law, what happens on one plane corresponds to what happens on the others. Why does this matter? Because it means the planes are not separate. They are different aspects of the same reality. Think of water, ice, liquid, steam. Three states, same substance. What you do to the steam eventually affects the ice, because they are corresponding states. Likewise, spiritual plane change reflects in the mental, manifests in the physical. Mental plane change manifests in the physical, eventually touches the spiritual. But, and this is crucial, it is much more efficient to change from top to bottom than from bottom to top. Plato reached the same conclusion 2,400 years ago. He proposed that there are two worlds: world of ideas, or forms, eternal, perfect, mental, the true reality; sensible world, or physical, temporary, imperfect, material, a shadow of reality. And he used the famous allegory of the cave to illustrate. Imagine prisoners chained in a cave since birth. They see only shadows on the wall, projected by real objects behind them, lit by a fire. For the prisoners, the shadows are reality. They don't know they are merely reflections. Plato said, "We are the prisoners. The physical world we see is the shadows. The real reality, the world of ideas, is behind us, on the mental, spiritual plane." And here is the Hermetic implication. If you want to change the shadows, the physical world, do not manipulate the shadows. Change the objects projecting them, the mental world. You want more money? Most try to change the physical, work more hours, get a side job, cut expenses. Hermetic approach: change the mental plane first. Examine your beliefs about money, your financial self-image, your thought patterns about abundance versus scarcity. Because if you have a scarcity mindset, you can work 100 hours a week and still be broke. The physical world will correspond to the mental world, always. Practical arsenal. Practice 1. Mapping the three planes. Choose one area of life: finances, relationships, health, career. Now map it across the three planes. Physical plane: what exists materially? Example, $100 in the account. Mental plane: what thoughts or beliefs do you have about it? Example, I never have enough money. Spiritual plane: what is your relationship with universal abundance? Example, the universe is scarce. You have just seen the physical corresponds to the mental, which corresponds to the spiritual. Now reverse it. Change the spiritual, recognize universal abundance, observe the mental change, observe the physical reorganize.
Foundation 2. Macrocosm and microcosm. The second law applies not only to planes, but also to scale. The Kybalion. As is the all above, so is the all below. Macrocosm equals the entire universe, galaxies, cosmos. Microcosm equals you, the individual, the human being. And the Hermetic Law, microcosm mirrors macrocosm. You are a miniature universe. The universe is a magnified you. Why did the ancients say, "Know thyself"? Because to know yourself is to know the universe. If you want to understand how God thinks, study how your mind works, because your mind is a fraction of the universal mind. If you want to understand the laws of the cosmos, study the laws within you, because the same laws operate at every scale. Hermetic view: atom, cell, body, planet, solar system, galaxy, universe, all governed by the same principles. Perfect correspondence between scales. Leonardo da Vinci was a Hermeticist, and his most famous drawing, The Vitruvian Man, is Hermetic philosophy encoded. He drew man inscribed perfectly in a circle, representing the cosmos, the divine, and a square, representing the earth, the material. Why? Because he was demonstrating man is the bridge between heaven and earth, the microcosm that contains the macrocosm. And the proportions? Leonardo discovered that the proportions of the human body correspond to the proportions of the universe. As above, cosmos, so below, man. This is no accident. It is the natural law of correspondence. You want to understand why your life is the way it is? Look within. Your external life is chaos. Your inner world is chaotic. Your relationships are toxic. Your relationship with yourself is toxic. Your finances are unstable. Your inner relationship to abundance is unstable. Your career is stagnant. Your inner vision of yourself is stagnant. The macrocosm corresponds to the microcosm. And here's the good news. You don't have to change the entire world. You have to change you, and the world reorganizes automatically. Practical arsenal. Practice 2, the mirror exercise. Take a sheet of paper and divide it into 2 columns. Column 1, my outer world. List everything that is happening in your external life, situations, patterns, results. Column 2, my corresponding inner state. For each external item, identify the internal mental or emotional state that is creating that correspondence. Example: external, I am always broke. Internal, I believe money is scarce and hard to get. Now you know. Change the inner belief and the outer correspondence changes automatically.
Foundation 3. You never escape yourself. If the outer always corresponds to the inner, then wherever you go, you take you with you. The Kybalion. As it is inwardly, so it is outwardly. You can change cities, jobs, partners, countries, but if you don't change internally, you will find the same problems with new faces. Why do people repeat the same destructive patterns their whole life? Abusive relationship, leaves, enters another abusive relationship. Toxic job, quits, finds another toxic job. Bad financial situation, starts over, ends up in the same place. Not because they're unlucky, but because they carry the same internal patterns that create these situations. Hermeticism says you cannot run from yourself because you are the creator of circumstances through mental correspondence. Carl Jung rediscovered the principle of correspondence through psychology. He called it projection. Jung observed everything you see out there, in other people, in situations, is a projection of what is in here. You hate someone? You are seeing in that person aspects of yourself you repressed. You fall obsessively in love? You are seeing aspects of your ideal self in that person. You see the world as hostile? Your inner world is hostile. Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Hermetic translation, until you recognize that the outer corresponds to the inner, you will blame circumstances for what you yourself create. You change jobs 5 times and always have the same type of difficult boss? That's not bad luck. You have an internal pattern that attracts or creates that dynamic. You have 3 relationships that ended the same way? Not misfortune. You have an internal pattern creating that correspondence. You always end up broke no matter how much you earn? It's not the system. You have a scarcity mindset that corresponds to a reality of scarcity.
You are the common denominator, and until you change internally, you will keep creating the same external correspondences. Practical arsenal. Practice 3. Identify your pattern. List the 3 problems that repeat the most in your life. For each one, ask, what inner belief do I hold that creates this outer correspondence? What aspect of myself am I projecting onto this situation? If I change this belief, could this situation still exist? You just identified the internal patterns you need to transmute.
Foundation 4. The outer is instant feedback of the inner. If the outer always corresponds to the inner, then your life is a real-time mirror of your mental state. The Kybalion. Nothing escapes the principle of correspondence. Every situation, every person, every coincidence, all of it is feedback showing you what is going on inside. Most people see life as random events. Things happen for no reason. Hermeticism says nothing is random. Everything is correspondence. You attracted that specific person? Correspondence with your inner state. You lost that opportunity? Correspondence with your belief in unworthiness. You experienced that conflict? Correspondence with unresolved inner conflict. Life is not chaos. It is a perfect mirror. Neville Goddard, 20th century mystic and Hermetic student, taught, "The world is yourself pushed out." He said, "Everyone you meet, every situation you experience is you in different form. The universe is constantly showing you who you're being internally." Neville taught a radical exercise. When something negative happens, don't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Ask, "What mental state in me created the correspondence for this to happen?" And he reported, when people did this honestly, they always found the inner correspondence. Someone disrespected you today. Before blaming them, ask, "How do I disrespect myself internally?" You missed an opportunity. Before blaming luck, ask, "Did I truly believe I deserved it?" You were surrounded by negative people? Before blaming others, ask, "What negativity inside me attracts or creates this correspondence?" Your outer world is constant feedback. Learn to read it. Practical arsenal. Practice 4. The Correspondence Journal. Every day for 30 days, write. External event. What happened that affected me? Corresponding inner state. What aspect of myself does this reflect? Transmutation action. What am I going to change internally? Example. External event. My boss criticized me harshly. Correspondence. I criticize myself harshly internally. Transmutation. I will practice self-compassion and stop internal harsh criticism. After 30 days, you'll see the outer changes when the inner changes. Implication 1. Outer chaos is always a symptom of inner chaos. If your outer world is chaos, turbulent relationships, unstable finances, directionless career, deteriorating health, this is not bad luck. It is perfect correspondence with inner chaos. What is inner chaos? Contradictory thoughts, conflicting beliefs, unprocessed emotions, unintegrated trauma, lack of clarity on values, absence of mental structure. And when you have inner chaos, the universe has no choice but to manifest corresponding outer chaos. Not because it is punishing you, but because correspondence is law, not preference. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire in collapse. Wars, plagues, betrayals, chaos everywhere. Yet he maintained perfect inner order. How? He wrote his meditations daily,
mental exercises to organize his thoughts, clarify his principles, process his emotions. Result? Even surrounded by outer chaos, he stayed centered. And where he created inner order, he created outer order correspondingly in decisions, strategies, leadership. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Hermetic translation: organize the inner first. The outer will correspond. Your home is messy? Correspondence with a messy mind. Your finances are chaotic? Correspondence with chaotic financial thoughts. Your relationships are constant drama? Correspondence with an emotional world that is unprocessed. And the solution is not just cleaning the house, organizing spreadsheets, or ending relationships. It is structuring the inner world, and then watching the outer reorganize on its own. Practical arsenal. Practice 5. The inner order ritual. Every Sunday, do this. Organize thoughts. Write down everything on your mind, every loose thought. Then categorize: work, family, finances, health. Clarify values. List your 5 most important values. Ask, did my actions this week reflect these values? Process emotions. Identify unprocessed emotions. Sit with them for 10 minutes. Don't repress, don't run, just feel. Create structure. Plan your week with clarity. Clear priorities, not vague intentions. You just created inner order. Observe the following week, the outer will correspond.
Implication 2. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. The popular law of attraction says you attract what you think. The Hermetic Law of Correspondence says something more precise. You attract what you are. Not what you want, not what you affirm, what you are at the deepest level. Why does law of attraction fail for most people? Because people try to attract things while being something incompatible. Example, they want abundance while being scarcity mindset. They want a healthy relationship while being unhealed trauma. They want success while being a belief in unworthiness. Correspondence does not respond to what you want, it responds to what you are. Arthur Schopenhauer described something similar. He said there is a will underlying all existence, and the world you experience is the objectification of your inner will. Not will as in superficial desires, but will as in your deepest essence. People want many things, but what they live corresponds to what they are at the level of will, not to their surface wishes. You want a loyal partner, but keep attracting people who betray you? You are someone who doesn't trust yourself, so you attract correspondence with distrust. You want abundance, but remain poor? You are scarcity mindset, so you attract correspondence with scarcity. You want respect, but people disrespect you? You are someone who doesn't respect yourself, so you attract correspondence with disrespect. Solution: stop trying to attract, start being.
Practical arsenal.
Practice 6. Become what you want to attract. Identify what you want to manifest: relationship, abundance, health, success. Ask, if I already had this, who would I be? What qualities would I have? List those qualities. Example, confident, generous, disciplined, integrous. Be those qualities now, not when it arrives, now. You're changing your being, and outer correspondence has no choice but to change.
Implication 3. Change the inner, the outer reorganizes by itself. This is the most powerful practical application of the principle of correspondence. You don't need to micromanage the outer. Just change the inner, and the outer reorganizes automatically. The Kybalion. To change your mood or mental state, change your vibration. Most people try to force external change, forcing a relationship to work, forcing money to appear, forcing opportunities to show up, and they exhaust themselves. Why? Because they're fighting against correspondence. Hermetic approach: change the inner state that is creating the unwanted correspondence, and watch the outer reorganize effortlessly. This is not magic, it is the physics of correspondence. Viktor Frankl was in Auschwitz. He could not change his outer circumstances. He was literally in a concentration camp. But he could change his inner state, and he chose, instead of despair, meaning; instead of victimhood, purpose; instead of hatred, understanding. What happened? Even in unchangeable external circumstances, his inner experience changed completely, and eventually, when he was freed, his outer correspondence reflected his transformed inner state. He became one of the most influential psychologists of all time. Inner change first, outer correspondence inevitably follows. You're struggling to change circumstances? Stop. Change the inner first. Difficult relationship. Change your inner state about relationships, expectations, wounds, patterns. Watch the relationship change or end naturally. Bad finances. Change your inner state about money, beliefs, financial self-image. Watch opportunities appear out of nowhere. Stagnant career. Change your self-image as a professional. Watch doors open. Practical arsenal. Practice 7. Inner transmutation for outer change. Choose one area you want to change. Step 1. Identify the current inner state, beliefs, emotions, mental patterns. Step 2. Define the desired inner state. How someone who already has what you want thinks or feels. Step 3. For 40 days, deliberately cultivate the desired inner state. Meditation, visualization, affirmations, journaling. Step 4. Do not force outer change. Just maintain the inner state. Step 5. Observe. The outer will reorganize to correspond to the new inner.
Error 1. Trying to change the outer without changing the inner. People try to fix their lives by changing outer things, new job, new partner, new city, without changing internally. Result? Same problems, new scenery. Always start by changing the inner. Then the outer will correspond naturally. Error 2. Blaming circumstances for what you created. It's not my fault. Circumstances are like this. I'm a victim. This completely ignores the principle of correspondence. Assume that everything in your life is correspondence with something internal. This is not about blame, it's about power. Because if you created it through correspondence, you can transmute it. Error 3. Focusing on what you don't want instead of what you want to be. I don't want to be poor. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to fail. This creates correspondence with exactly what you don't want. Why? Because your mind is focused on it. Focus on what you want to be, not what you don't want. I want to be abundant. I want to be connected. I want to be successful. Correspondence responds to focus, not mere intention.
Hermes Trismegistus, Emerald Tablet. As above, so below. As below, so above. If you take only one thing from this episode, let it be this. If your outer world is chaos, Your inner world is chaos. Not because the universe is cruel, not because you're unlucky, but because correspondence is a fundamental law of reality. What is within will always, always manifest without. The microcosm will always reflect in the macrocosm. The mental plane will always correspond to the physical plane. And here is the liberating implication. You are not trapped in circumstances. You are trapped in mental patterns that create circumstances. Change the inner patterns, and the outer circumstances have no choice but to reorganize to match. Recap of what we've learned. 3 planes correspond: spiritual, mental, physical. Change one, the others correspond. Macrocosm mirrors microcosm. Your life reflects you. You reflect the universe. You never escape yourself. Wherever you go, you take your patterns with you. Outer is feedback of inner. Every situation shows what is happening inside. Outer chaos equals inner chaos. Organize within, without organizes. You attract what you are, not what you want. Correspondence responds to essence, not wishes. Change inner, outer reorganizes by itself. Don't force, transmute, and observe. And the practices to apply. Map the 3 planes. Use the mirror exercise. Identify repeating patterns. Keep a correspondence journal. Create an inner order ritual. Become what you want to attract. Practice inner transmutation for 40 days. Hermes Trismegistus, Corpus Hermeticum. Know thyself, and you will know the universe and the gods. Why? Because you are the universe in miniature, and the universe is you amplified. When you understand correspondence, you stop fighting the world and start reshaping the world through self-transmutation. Every external problem is showing you an internal pattern that needs to be transmuted. The mirror does not lie, and now you know how to read it.